As someone who used to look like Christian Bale from The Machinist, I kept wondering why I still had a lot of face fat, even though I was heavily underweight. Because I know how you feel whenever you see a reflection of yourself with that choppy face, but you just wished that your jawline was just a little bit better so you could have that TikTok boy's attractive look. Therefore, in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact steps that I did to get rid of my face fat, so you can get that attractive TikTok boy's jawline as well. There's only two reasons why you have face fat. One of them being that you are just overweight, but the second thing can be, even though you are skinny, just like I was when I was younger, is that you have a lot of sodium in your body. Plus, that you eat a lot of carbs because it makes you hold onto a lot of water weight. And that's exactly why that I will be walking through the first step, which is why you have such a chubby face even though you're underweight. Because as I said, it's not just because you're overweight. So first of all, I want you to understand the concept of potassium versus sodium. So sodium is basically the bad thing. Think about it as like the thief. That is the one taking away your attractiveness, while potassium is like Batman and Robin. They are coming to fucking save you. So basically, sodium is things that are in a lot of processed food. So for example, cereal meats, meals, and then like pizza, all of these different things. Basically, they make you have a lot of choppy fat in your face. However, then we have the potassium. Potassium, as I said, is the lifesaver. Basically, it's the one that makes us get rid of the sodium. So potassium is basically things that we have in avocado, in potatoes, kiwi, and spinach and bananas. Basically, when we eat a lot of potassium, not too much, but not too little either. Like we just need to get some potassium, right? When we do that, we actually get rid of the sodium, which has actually made our face become very bloated. And it does the same thing with the carbs. So carbs is basically just holding on to a lot of water weight. So when we eat a lot of rice, etc. Basically, that's why a lot of Indian cultures have a lot of face fat. So that's why potassium is so important, because that's how we can revert the effect of holding a lot of water weight. But this can sound kind of complicated, all of these different things like potassium, sodium. So basically I have a program where I have made out the workout meal plan for you, so you don't have to think about it yourself. I literally have all the ingredients list of all the things that actually have the things that you need in order to get rid of that face fat. If you're interested, then go down and have a look at the top link of the description. All the details are there. But you probably think that stopping drinking water will then be the solution, right? Because if I'm just holding on to water weight, I just have to starve myself from fucking drinking water. But that is absolutely bullshit, because your body is actually way more intelligent than what you think. Because the thing is, even though we don't drink water, your body is so smart that it will actually start generating more water. It's such a weird concept. So if you actually try to starve yourself from water, you will actually become more bloated. So that's actually why that if we keep ourselves hydrated throughout the day, it will actually tell our body, okay, we don't actually need that much water weight, so it will actually get more rid of it. It sounds kind of complicated, but that's actually how it works. So now that you understand why you are actually have a lot of face fat, let's go to step number 2. But it's to be said that if you are skinny right now and you still have choppy face, the next step is not gonna be for you. So go to the next step again, because that's something that will actually teach you something. This is only for people who are overweight. Because step number 2 is reduce your body fat percentage, and how to do it. So basically, here's why you got fat. It has a little bit to do with the first step. Again, you have been eating a lot of carbs. Basically, you just have been in a calorie surplus. So this basically means that we have some energy that we burn out throughout the day. Think about that. Let's imagine that you have a tank, right? You have a tank which is filled up. When it's filled up, that's the amount of food that you have been taking in throughout the day. But throughout the day, we are doing things that sap away our tank. So for example, if you do a lot of cardio, your tank gets sipped out very quickly. So the tank goes out. Of course, this also has to do something about your metabolism. If you have a high metabolism, it goes quicker. If you have a slow metabolism, it goes slower, basically, right? But the basic concept is just when you're doing something, when you're active, you will take away this energy tank. But when you eat, you also fill it up. Imagine if you eat so much that it runs out of this tank. That's actually the fat, because you can maintain this amount before you get fat. But if you eat so much that it fills over, like it literally flows over this tank, then all the things that flows over is what becomes like your fat on your body. So you can see now that's how that you're getting fat. But it can be very difficult, because for some people, when they do more activity, they also become way more hungry and they will actually overeat as well. So the answer is not always just to do more activity. I think you understand the principle of it now, right? So basically what we want to do is, of course, have some level of activity. You don't want to be a lazy piece of shit, but the main point is just that we need to eat less. We need to be in a calorie deficit. So basically eating so our tank is not completely full. And for us to know exactly what we need to eat, so in order for us to not get overweight, I have a rule or a thing that I've implemented, which I call the fundamentals for getting shredded. And the fundamentals for getting shredded is to know the concept of the 3 macronutrients that there is. So the 3 macronutrients it's very simple. It's just carbs, protein, and then fat. Those are the 3 macronutrients. I guarantee, because of your parents at home, you have been eating more of the carbs section, but we actually want to turn more over to the protein section and a little bit more also of the fat. For some reason, people think that if you eat more fat, you'll also get more fat. But we just spoke about that it's actually about the amount of calories that you take in by the end of the day. It has nothing to do if you eat more fatty food like avocado, nuts, all of these different things. It's all about just the calories intake. So we actually want to reduce the amount of carbs that we eat, because they hold a lot of calories plus water weight. So we want to go over to the protein, which actually also helps us build more muscle throughout the way. Plus, a benefit of eating a lot of protein is that it keeps you more full. You probably realize when you eat a lot of junk food, for example, or candy, you quickly get more hungry again. Like the time period for when you feel full till you feel hungry again is very short when you eat junk food. But when you have eaten a real amount of food which is non-processed, so for example a steak or chicken, when you have eaten that, you actually feel a lot more full throughout the day. So basically, here is my action step for you. Basically, try to eat more of these macronutrients, the 3 that I just talked about, but focus more on the protein. That's my action step. And then the second action step is to be in a calorie deficit. And I don't want you to weigh out every single gram of food that you eat, because that gets so complicated. So keep it very simple and just eat one less thing of what you currently eat. So let's say, for example, that you eat 3 pieces of toast every single morning. Let's just say that, right? Then you're gonna eat 2 pieces of toast every single morning from now on. And then you just keep reducing a little bit. Let's say, for example, when you eat dinner and you have pasta with chicken. Normally you will probably take 3 spoons of pasta. Now you will only take 2 spoons of pasta. And then you will take, instead of 2 spoons of the chicken, you will take 3 spoons of the chicken. That will actually make you come more in a calorie deficit. So can you see now, it's very simple to actually be in a calorie deficit. We just need to reduce a little bit of what we eat. So let's say that you also, let me give you another example. Let's say if you eat 3 cookies every single night because you want to have something sweet, then only eat 2 cookies. It's very simple, right? However, even if you do all the previous steps I've just told you, you may not actually get an attractive jawline. Sure, you will be lean, but you will probably still honestly have some skin hanging off here. And there's actually a reason for this. And that is because we have a muscle that actually has to do with our skin hanging off here. And that is called the hyoid bone. So the hyoid bone is basically the muscle, which I just told you about, is responsible for tightening up our skin here. So look at this. This is a good hyoid bone. This is a bad hyoid bone. basically having a lot of skin hanging off here. So actually, the way that we want to train this is literally just focus on breathing through our nose instead of breathing through our mouth. Honestly, this has a little bit to do with the hyoid bone, but might as well not. Because the thing is, when we breathe through our nose instead, we will actually stop getting a recessed jawline like this. This is a recessed jawline. This is how most people look because they breathe through their mouth. But if you start breathing through your nose and you start to mew, that's when your jawline will come more forward. And that will actually give you kind of a more attractive jawline. But again, all of these different things I teach inside of my program. I literally review your form. So when you do certain exercises that you can do for like your jawline, all of these different things, and for your hyoid bone, I literally review your form and I make out this specific workout plan for your type, because some people have different faces, of course we do that. So there's different exercises that you need to do in order for you to become more attractive. And that's exactly what I do inside of my program. So have a look at the top link of the description if you're interested. Again, all the details are there. So step number 3 is quick results that you can literally get from today. Basically some small things that you can do in order for you to get leaner today. But the thing is that I want you to understand is this is just a short-term solution. The long-term solution was the thing that I told you in the previous steps. But again, if you want to just try to experiment with it, then you can do it today. First thing that you can do is actually do cold exposure. You've probably seen all the different things on like the internet, like Ashton Hall, for example, doing like the ice cold thing with like an ice bowl. That is actually true. Like if you just do some cold exposure, not just cold shower, but specifically having ice cubes, this is the action step, right? Take a bowl, do the coldest amount of water that you can get, fill that up, put ice cubes in it, and then you take your face down. Keep it down there for as long as humanly possible before you just can't do it anymore because your face will sting. Then you go up, take 3 deep breaths, and then you go down again. Do this repeatedly for like 5 to 10 times. When you have done that, you should be able to see a difference in your face because the cold exposure will have tightened it up a little bit. The next thing that you can do is face massage. You've probably seen the gua sha on like the internet where you can kind of like pull away like basically your face fat. But what it actually does is just getting a better blood circulation. What is it called? Better blood flow. Holy shit, I can't speak. Better blood flow. Basically, that's what it does. So it will also make you look more leaner. You can buy those on like the internet. I don't know. You can experiment with it yourself. But that's the action step that you literally just give yourself the massage every single day with those gua sha. The last thing, which is the most effective, is basically sweating. So if you're sweating a lot, you basically get rid of like your face fat. But the thing is, and the water that you're holding on to. So basically the thing that we can do here is high intensity cardio, for example, like running really fast. But what we can also do is honestly just go to a sauna. If you're going to a sauna, you sweat a lot. Of course you do that, right? So basically, but the thing is, as soon as you get out of it and then you drink some water again, you will again just, and you eat, that's when just all the face fat will basically just come back. So again, as I said, this is just a short-term solution. Maybe you want to go on a date, then you can just do it basically, or these sort of things. And that is basically the video for today. I really hope that you enjoyed the video and that you got some really good points out of this. I really sat down and thought like, what could be some good tips that I actually needed when I had that kind of face fat. And these was the solutions that I came up to. And that's exactly why that if you want to get more of these kind of advice on how you can become the most attractive version of yourself, where I literally teach you exactly how you can change your fucking skull and your facial muscles, what I basically call the 4 key facial muscles. That's literally what I teach on this channel. So if you want to get more of this, then I will highly recommend you to go down and click subscribe to this channel. If you want to keep on learning, then go have a look at this video over here. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day, bro. Mwah!